Hello, hello, everybody. Come on in, take a seat, snuggle up with a blanket, and grab a warm beverage. It's cold outside. It's cold anyway in Wisconsin. Very cold in Wisconsin. Um, so I hope everybody's having a great night. I'll wait for a few people to get in here, start chatting with me. Hello, Ginger Girl. Good to see you. Hi, Melly Cats. Good to see you. Yes, I'm doing good today. Just tired. I don't know why. I got plenty of sleep, so just a lot going on in the last few days, I gotta say. So I think it's emotionally draining. This case, isn't it, huh? Just something else. And I'm the type. Hello, Brenda Joe and Canine. Good to see you. Yeah. Did you get your package, Melly Cat? Something. So, I wanted, before we get started, um, I want to remind everybody about Emma Bal, 25 years old. Hasn't been seen since October 10th of this year. This case is not getting the traction, guys, and it breaks my heart. Her family is distraught, and I made an error. I was chatting with, I thought was her brother, but it wasn't. I was chatting with her sister. We never really discussed who it was. So, it's my error. And it was her sister, Haley, that I was chatting with. But she's been so gracious, so kind. That family's going through so much. And all they want is for this to be out there so that she can be found, right? Um, she's probably had her baby by now. So hopefully, you know, she's got that baby with her. She can be brought home to her other three small children. So keep her in your thoughts and prayers, guys, please. And, if you're able to, please get her name out there. All right. Let's see. You're sitting in front of your electric fireplace, Ginger. How nice. Aw, thank you, Mallycat. I appreciate it. Mallycat doesn't live too far from me. And she she's always buying my soaps. So it's kind of cool. I do make soap in my spare time. I haven't made any for a while though, so I need to make some more. I didn't even make Christmas soaps this year, and I had plans to do it. um, I am praying that she's hiding in a woman. What? What? Aw, thank you, Melly Cat. I appreciate that so much. I'm glad you're enjoying them. I know I like them. They're so much better than the store bought. So, we're not going to show the old videos tonight. We're going to chat again, guys. Hello, Dreaming. Good to see you. So I did have an update from At Night Media to share with you guys. And maybe some of you have seen it, but that's okay. We're going to talk about it. So public update on the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, December 21st, 2024. As of this date, Dog the Bounty Hunter, in collaboration with At Night Private Intelligence and other partners, is intensifying its efforts to locate 16-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. To support this expanded initiative, we are actively seeking licensed investigators and volunteers to assist with coordinated sweeps and searches in strategic locations. Keep in mind, strategic locations, guys. We are currently pursuing 2 viable leads regarding the whereabouts of Sebastian and evidence of his disappearance in multiple states. It's a call for investigators and volunteers. We are mobilizing teams to conduct focused searches and investigative operations in the following locations: Springfield, Arkansas; Memphis, Tennessee; DeSoto County, Mississippi; Chesapeake, Virginia; Santa Fe, New Mexico; Stanley, Wisconsin. Guys, that last one is only 100 miles from me. I'll continue on and then I'll talk about it. Send your resume and qualifications to sebastians@manhunts.one if you're volunteering. Please provide your full name, phone number, and address. Individuals holding valid licenses in Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Virginia, New Mexico, Wisconsin, and Oregon, or residing in surrounding areas are strongly encouraged to join our team stationed in Memphis, Tennessee, and neighboring regions. Volunteers in these areas are also encouraged to participate in the search endeavors aimed at identifying potential artifacts or evidence pertinent to this case during scheduled sweep operations. Updated rewards for information. At Night is offering a substantial reward for any information that leads to the successful apprehension, conviction, and sentencings of all individuals responsible for Sebastian's disappearance as well as his safe return. Part 2 of that. Verified media, $500 to $1,500 for verified photographs, videos, audio, or other documentation that provides actionable leads or expedites the investigation. Overall reward, the reward for information leading to the safe return of Sebastian remains at $250,000. Your contribution, regardless of its magnitude, could significantly contribute to the resolution of this case. And then it talks about, you can email Sebastian@manhunts.one, call 833-TELL-DOG or 844-922-3236, Sumner County Sheriff, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI tip line. And it goes on to tell you about Sebastian's case. But the one that really got me was the Stanley, Wisconsin, guys. My heart. I even thought of emailing Nick, right? But I'm 66 years old. I have long COVID symptoms, so my health is up and down, right? Some days I, just drug out, can't hardly do anything. Just going up and down the stairs to let Lacey out sometimes is, I have no breath, it's affected my lungs badly. So searching wouldn't be an option for me, right? So I've hesitated because I don't feel like I could be viable help. But I can't tell you how much I would want to do that, guys. I really would. It just breaks my heart that I'm not able to. Right. It's on the other side of Wausau, Mellycat. Yeah. And that's it. Now you understand my email, Ginger. Yeah. Yeah, it's so close that it makes me want to go, right? I mean, and it's only a town of like not quite 4,000, 3.8K, it said. So it's even smaller than the town I live in, which is, in my opinion, is small. but it's bigger than yours, Melly Cat. But it's small. So I could see how, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, really. Um, it's off of Highway 29 in Wisconsin. And I could see how someone could get away with keeping a teenager under wraps there very easily, you know. I mean, I'd be up for doing surveillance in a vehicle or something. I'll drive my car and sit there and, keep my eyes open if I need to watch somebody. You're able to hike a little? Okay. Yeah, I guess I would just have to reach out to Nick and see, what all would be involved in it. I'm wondering how many people there would be that'll come forward for Stanley, Wisconsin. I mean, I don't know. So what I'm saying. I don't know. There may be quite a few. I don't have a clue. But it's not like I'm familiar with the place or anything like that, right? It's you know, just that it's close enough that I could go is the only thing. But I don't know how much help I'd be. But the other thing that happened, is my sound all right for you guys? Like my headphones don't want to work right for me, but if you guys can hear me okay, I'm good. But last night, I don't know how many of you were on Justin's live, but Tony came on. Justin was going over the infamous Elevated Truth video. It seems like everybody's been going over and over and over it. And so I thought we'd play Tony's update. Okay, cool. I'm glad I sound good. It's probably just my headphones or my ears. Who knows what's going on? But I'm gonna play where Tony got on the line last night, because I didn't listen to all of it, but I listened to enough that it's good information. Encouraging, very encouraging information, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And then we can talk about it.
Go further.
So on the 26th, when I got there, okay, I went and talked to the detective. Probably, I don't know.
Tell you guys, this is going to be a data case. It's going to be a data case.
I know it's not too much longer.
Later
here.
On that day, I mean, there was, like we've said before, there's been people in and out of that house quite often. They brought in their special little tools and their gadgets, and they do what they do. When they saw that there was my truck's internet on their system, they were like, well, this is a new one. Well, no shit, because it's my truck.
No. Every fucking device is
guys.
going to shake hands with that. This is a new one. So you gorgeous thing. You remind me of Grace. What's her name? From Will and Grace. Every device is going to shake.
I'm trying to move ahead, guys, but
catch it.
I want to catch it right at the beginning of it.
You know what you could do to just stop all of that, Edgar? You know what you could just do?
That they did because you told me that they did
that, but all you're doing is thinking that. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, my darling. There were times during this live where three people
and met somebody.
If you go off into that terrain, you have to see the terrain. It's not possible.
Well, I don't think he went into terrain. I think we see a car light. Come on. I think he went into a vehicle.
footprint, like digital footprint. Well, he didn't take anything.
Well, you're getting bits and pieces of that.
I mean, traveling Wi-Fi's. Do that with her bottle every time. She just like
His monkey is cute, by the way.
You'd never.
I can't see chat, so I don't know what you guys are saying, but
I had no problem. Good to see you. Good to see you. I thought it was very interesting.
Don't know the source of that.
The source is Edgar. At 1 o'clock, and something was bodied. She said, "Yeah, yeah, really." Family has Life 360. The proud foot, and he said, "But if there's more than one."
That he is protective of his wife.
Yes.
I agree.
I feel like that was that if he did really know something without a doubt, I feel like they would get it out of him.
So does anybody know where it was at in that?
Chance that either of them did something, they know it. It won't be long before.
Hello, Queen Sebastian. It's good to see you.
So time will tell, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I think the FBI, the TBI,
and the police would definitely have
like
more suspicion, you would think.
Been the entire day, right? That's
again, they're not going to give a wooden nickel. Bingo.
I thought it was before now.
Video.
Yeah. I mean, apparently, allegedly.
and the reason
is
why
that true? Is that true? What someone just said in chat that she had to identify them?
You know that. You have confidence in them, and I know that.
Okay, I think he's talking to him now, but
we are going to be calling Mr. Mathis, and
okay. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I thought I had it right to where it was supposed to be. So.
And Mr. Rogers.
What's up, dude?
Hello.
You're interrupting us in one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh, I'm sorry. So sorry.
Good Boys.
Oh.
And if you ever watch it, you'll understand how funny that is.
I've never seen it.
So he got a call. Somebody's freaking out. Katie dropped Sebastian's clothes off. They held the clothes for him. He got over there and looked at him, and they not.
Okay, say that again. Start again. Speak a little louder if you don't mind. It's hard to hear you.
He can you hear me now?
You're still a little low, but I can hear you.
Okay. He got a call of somebody freaking out that Katie had dropped some clothes off there that were Sebastian's. They'd seen her doing it.
You know I'm live, right?
Exactly, Ginger.
I mean, you got me on a call?
Yeah.
Am I on the live?
Yes. Am I not supposed to have you on the live?
Right. No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
He
okay.
got over
Sorry.
there
I
and
apologize because
clothes.
I see you just said Tony said mute him, and I didn't realize it.
Thank you, Brenda Joe.
I'm not.
We get up to 20 likes, we'll do our
Is it okay?
cheerleader
Pause
video.
the live and call me. Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind being
Okay.
on the call on the live.
Okay.
I mean, I'm helping you clear up the information.
Right. That's what I thought you wanted to do. But I thought you meant pause the video, right? Like pause the video and call you.
Yeah, I just meant
Okay.
if you pause and call me. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So Seth got a call that Katie had dropped some clothes off, and the person had held the clothes. I'm assuming when she found out that Sebastian was missing, or maybe she already knew the story. Anyway, Seth drove over there. He got over there, and they were not only not Sebastian.
Everybody hit the like button that's in here.
So Katie gave away baby clothes.
We'll do our cheerleading video when we get up to 20
Seth
likes.
doesn't even know if it was Katie that dropped them off. It could have been somebody just, trying to run him around, or maybe they thought it was Katie. I mean, he's not, he doesn't even know for sure if it was Katie that dropped him off.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
Okay.
but when he got over to look at the clothes,
So, she, who we will not say her name, was wrong about Katie dropping off Sebastian's clothes. Okay? Debunked. Per Seth. Through Tony. Was not Sebastian's clothes that were dropped off at Goodwill.
if it was Katie, and we're not saying it was, but if it was, these were baby clothes and they were not Sebastian's.
Okay.
So I'm not even sure that there's a sliver of truth to that whole story. Now there it did happen. He got a call that she had dropped off some of Sebastian's clothes, and
Okay.
he obviously went over there immediately,
Okay.
and it was nothing.
Okay. So we don't even know if it's Katie.
No, we don't even know if it's Katie. We don't.
Right.
The other clothes that people are talking about, there were some clothes that turned out to be not related to Sebastian either, that were found over by Rockland. And they did bag those and tag them, and it took him a while to get.
Yes, I do want to mention this, guys. Seth is supposed to be on tonight at 8 o'clock. That would be Central Time. So subscribe to his channel and join Team Sebastian. We're not any other team but Team Sebastian. Okay, guys? So he'll be on tonight live. They'll be giving us some more information, but I can't wait for you guys to hear what's in this one right here that we're listening to.
Him to return his call to meet up with him to get those clothes, and when they did, they were not Sebastian's, but that's completely unrelated.
Okay. Okay. How long ago was that? Just curious. Excuse me.
Oh, that was a long time ago. That was
Okay.
before I got involved. So over 7.5 months ago.
Okay, so y'all, you see, if anyone says that about, this is the thing. I don't want anyone to lie about Katie, even. You know what I mean? Like, we need the truth in everything.
I mean, here's the thing. When we put information out there, like asking for an opinion,
Mm-hmm.
we're only going to put information out there that we have confirmed with law enforcement, or that we have documents to support. Early on, I put some information out there that came from a person that said they met with Sumner County, and we found out that some of that information may not have been accurate.
Right.
So when we release information now, it's either documented or it's information we've been given permission to talk about through law enforcement. And I can tell you that we've had 4 meetings with law enforcement in the last 12 days.
Holy shit.
And
Isn't that awesome, guys?
communicate with them daily. Yeah, he's live.
That's amazing. You know what? I'm so glad y'all, you got a
And and I will tell you this: the people that are running around saying they just don't have any evidence, um, that would be a monumental speculation.
Well, then,
So, I would tell you that
Did you hear that? People who are running around saying that law enforcement has no evidence, that would be a monumental speculation. All right, let's continue.
they are working very hard. Um, they've got a mountain of evidence to support the work they've been doing, and we are in regular communication with them. And anybody on, and unfortunately, there are two sides. I mean, it is what it is.
it is. Yeah,
Whether they be on our side or the other side.
that's right.
Anybody
Bingo.
that thinks that these guys aren't doing their job, we all have to remember that people keeping things close to their chest, people not communicating, generally in these cases, there's a reason for that. And they
Yes.
are doing their job. They're working very hard. They're being very communicative to Seth and very respectful to Seth.
I'm glad.
And our support for those guys is at an all-time high.
Absolutely. And that's, I'm glad that there's an open communication there. I'm so thankful that, you have confidence in them. And I know that it would have to be, to make Seth, respectfully Seth, to have confidence, he's going to, he's just not going to jump. You know what I mean? Seth isn't going to just jump.
He's not going to turn a 180 in the way he feels without good reason.
Right. Exactly.
And I've always been the one behind the scenes that's been saying, hey, I don't have reason to think that there's any corruption. I don't have reason to believe they're not doing their job, and Seth, was not of the same thought process for the longest time. But when I tell you that we are both 100% on board with those guys, supporting them, know that they're working hard, and know that they are much closer today than they were February 26th. That's the only thing that I needed to know.
Right. Yeah, that was always your question. That was always your question.
Exactly.
And, and this is the thing, I was just talking, this is a criminal investigation. It's a criminal investigation, in my opinion. I mean, Nick Barris said March 4th, it is a criminal investigation. Right. But
the moment that we don't believe he ran away anymore, I mean, there's not much else, right?
Right. Well, and there's no evidence to point that. But
Yes, it is a criminal investigation. Melly Cat, thank you so much. You're such a sweetheart. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And so does Lace. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And yes, I think we're all feeling like things are going to happen, right? We're getting close, guys. I can feel it, Yeah, exactly. 4 visits in the past 12 days. That things are starting to happen because why would law enforcement need to see Seth that many times, right? They're tightening down on things. Things are going, have every reason to hope. I really do. I have every reason to hope that things are going to break pretty quickly now. Very quickly.
I was just saying in this live, think about how many warrants they have to get just for the home, right? The phone, right? The iPad, this, that, the cars, right? Everyone's cars, including Seth's, right?
You can't
Everyone's.
get a blanket warrant for all the cars. You can't get a blanket warrant.
No, it is individual.
all-
Not only that, but they need a warrant for any like if, for instance, if they got internet, right? They've got to get a warrant for that as well. It is so
Think about
many.
all the tools these guys have, right? I mean,
I agree,
you've got
K9.
warrants, you've got subpoenas, you've got probable cause affidavits, you have, and then the tools inside of the processes. You've got geofencing, you've got so many things. I mean, this is 2024, and
Almost
these
25.
guys aren't. Yeah, these guys are operating with a mountain of resources.
Yes. Yeah.
So, they have what they need, and they will solve this case.
Yeah.
There's not a doubt in our minds.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's
I 1000% believe that. Seth believes that. And
well,
where we're at right now is we want, we certainly appreciate and respect all the creators, good, bad, or indifferent, that are not causing problems, that are digging into the case.
Yeah.
Our particular situation right now is we want to make it clear that we're supporting law enforcement, and we want to try to focus on, Sebastian and not anything else. So that's kind of where we're sitting.
right. I mean, I know that this, like I said, there's a mountain of information. I can't imagine the information that they've had to comb through. I can't imagine. You know what I mean? And
So,
that
let's use our critical thinking abilities.
Mhm.
These guys have a monumental amount of pressure on them.
Yes, that's what.
They have
Yes.
pressure from our side, from the other side, from the remaining few that are just on Team Sebastian that haven't chosen a side, from the concerned citizens of the community.
Yep.
It was an election year, and with Summer Wells and some of the other things in Tennessee, they have a huge amount of pressure, and these guys are, very, very, very committed to trying to restore faith in the community, that, your children are safe. This is a safe place, and they are working relentlessly to restore that faith in the community. And they know that until this case is solved, they're going to have more doubters every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I can tell you, the guys are, when you speak with them,
That is a good point that Tony brings up. There have been a lot of disappearances in that area, and unsolved ones as well. Too many as far as how big that area is. I haven't been able to find exactly how many yet. I should dig into that more. Every time I start, I get interrupted by something else. But I think that they do want, to have public support back, right? And I think they got, I don't know if you want to call it big egos or whatever, and lackadaisical, right? because they were this case before Dog and Nick stepped up was so very close to becoming a cold case, guys. I hate to say that, because I know that Seth was doing everything he could to try to stop it from being a cold case. But think about how long we went without any information, guys, before Dog and Nick's put out a higher reward. Well, first it was the FBI, right? And then Dog and Nick added to it. And that's when more tips started coming in, guys. From everything that we hear, they're getting flooded with tips now. So how much more, and yes, you're going to get a bunch of bogus ones, right? You are. But you're going to get that no matter what you do. Another creator posted info on Tennessee changes to laws and making the abuse of a child a felony. That's awesome. I'm glad that Tennessee is changing their laws. Because it's been needed. And I think that was part of the problem. I think police officers did not feel as though they could only go so far and not any farther, right? As far as abuse. So maybe now that laws are changing, things are going to happen before something like this happens, right? Before a child goes missing. So let's continue.
They're courteous. They're professional. They, we don't put them in a situation where they have to tell us things they don't want to tell us, or they have to tell us no.
Right.
But there's been enough communication that we are very comfortable that they are going to solve this case.
That's been the question all along. You know what I mean? And I don't, sometimes we don't know why law enforcement does what they do. Maybe, the thing is, they can work a case 6 months and not have much. And then
Right.
they find one thing and then it's jackpot.
Let me ask you a question, and let me ask your audience a question. If this was your child,
Mhm.
you know that they've only got one shot. When they bring this, they've got
Yes.
to bring it strong.
Yep.
Because we all know what double jeopardy is.
Yep. I knew what you were going to say.
So
Yeah.
if this were your child, your audience's child, how much of the vital information that you need to get a DA to sign off on a case to prosecute who's responsible, how much of that information would you want them sharing with the general public?
None.
Zero.
None. Zero.
And that's where we're at. We've come to grips with the fact that we want this case to be as strong as it could be.
Yeah.
And we're willing to give them anything they ask for. There are no questions off limits with us. There never has been with Seth. He is the most transparent person I've worked with, not only in any case like these, but also in
Seth's
just
an
in
open
life
book.
in general.
He's an open book. He's too open
100%.
sometimes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um,
So we have nothing to hide. He's got nothing to hide, and I think it was abundantly clear early in the last, like I said, 12 days, that we're willing to do anything we can do to help them, support them.
yes.
Everybody laughed about the truth serum months ago.
Yeah.
But our response was that first thing we've got to do to get somebody to want to work with us is let them know that Seth is an open book, and if that means some kind of crazy truth serum or whatever, I mean,
Well,
again, we don't have anything to hide.
That's the thing. I mean, people, I think, blew it out of proportion. It was the fact that Seth was saying, I'll do anything, anything, anything.
Right.
Why wouldn't other?
Yeah, that whole thing was blown up. I remember that so well. And yeah, it was blown way out of proportion. It was Seth telling Dog, I will do anything. I'll take true serum. I'll do whatever you need. Help me find my son. Because when Dog and Nick came on the scene, they asked Seth information. They vetted him before they would work for him. They wanted to know, you know, basically that he was innocent is what they wanted to know, and if there was anything that could even remotely make him look guilty, I don't think they would have taken the case on, right? So that is why Seth said that. I'll do anything you want me to do, and that just got blown all out of proportion. Of course, the way things always do, right? It's crazy.
Others?
Seth would go on Nancy Grace again tomorrow and take polygraphs in front of an audience. He doesn't care.
Yes.
He's got nothing to hide.
Right. That's exactly right.
And like him, don't like him, like me, don't like me. I mean, there's so many people that have formed opinions based on on what they hear or what they want to hear. But again, he just wants his son back, and he is willing to do anything he can to make that happen. And
that's what real parents do. Right. And
I don't know that anybody's got a playbook for this, but I can tell you that there's one parent that has been shouting from the rooftop that they want this child back.
Yeah.
That's it. No more.
Right. And Mohawk, you're right. And I was going to mention this to you, Tony. Justin has said for a long time, they only get one chance to get it right. And I've said this 1,000 times, Tony. I'd rather it be wait 2 years and really get this case
100%.
than 6 months and no justice and not finding Sebastian.
Well, and the phrase that we use within our camp, multiple times a week, regarding information we put out, regarding the investigation.
Speak up a little bit.
The phrase we've been using a lot lately regarding either information that we put out or regarding the investigation itself has been, we really want to measure twice and cut once.
Yeah. I agree.
So, and that's our philosophy. You will not hear us, nor have you ever heard us. Again, other than early on where I relayed some information, and I won't call the other creator out, but they had a meeting with Sumner County. They gave Seth and I information. Seth was on the phone when it happened on a 3-way call. We both heard the same information. We relayed it out there. And in this person's defense, I'm still not certain that the information was not really what was received. I think they pushed this person into changing their mind and what they heard. But after that happened, from then on out, we've never released anything that we didn't measure twice, cut once, triple verify,
cross-check and verify.
Or that we didn't, or that we didn't have documentation in front of us from a government entity.
Yes. Well, it's I'm not going to, but yesterday the question was asked about Edgar. Has there been 5 CPS cases? And he couldn't answer that.
His comment was, I don't know.
Yeah, that's his comment. Now, I don't know about you, but if my home and my stepson and he's been missing 10 months, I have time to think on that. I think you would probably know. I found that very interesting.
Well, I mean, look, how many you got a lot of good parents in your chat.
Yes.
You're a good parent.
Thank you.
You got a lot of good parents in your chat. even if you're a bad parent, if somebody asks the question,
Hello, Samantha.
do you have a CPS report filed against you? You know the answer. There.
Yeah, Ginger,
There
I'm
is
going to
no.
post that in a
I
minute.
can't remember. I don't know
Mhm.
the number. Right, the number's irrelevant at this point.
Mhm.
But you either know or you know that it has happened or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now again, I mean, everybody's got to tread lightly with those reports. We've been given very strict legal advice as to what we
Absolutely.
can discuss.
Absolutely.
The quantity of the reports, the approximate dates of the reports, but none of the content in the reports. You've never heard us discuss the content.
No. The only thing Seth has ever said is, if you knew what I knew, it would keep you up at night.
Yeah. And I mean, an opinion based on what he's seen, there's obviously nothing wrong with that. But
No.
anything deeper than that,
No specifics.
You will never hear us discuss
Yeah.
that. And the advice we took on that was not from Lesniak. It wasn't from Castor. It wasn't from any of those folks. It was from the same attorney that obtained the reports, the family attorney.
Right.
So,
right.
And we're to a point where we're keeping everything tightened up. Good. We're not going to have loose lips. We're going to aid in making sure that this investigation is ironclad. And we're going to, we're not just talking to them, about where we're at on the case and all that type of thing. We're also talking to them about, our own media strategy. What can we do to make sure we're not causing problems? What can we do to show you that we're supporting you?
Yeah.
Let's work together to make sure that we're supporting you guys and not getting in your way.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is really what we had hoped for at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's what
Instead of just going out and getting in the middle of this mess. We really wanted to say, hey, let's work together. Let's see what we could do to keep his name out there, but not get in the way. And that's been our number one goal the past 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's I'm so glad to hear that. I think the question was asked last night if Mr. Edgar was if he was still in contact with law enforcement, and he gives a very rosy thing about law enforcement. He used to in the early days, and he just didn't give that this time, and that makes me so we'll see.
That's true, guys. Did you hear how Chris talked about law enforcement on that video with Elevated Truth? He wasn't kind about law enforcement. Not at all. So I found that it's like things have changed from one. It's kind of like Tony said, where there are sides. There's no getting around it, right? And things have changed from one side to the other, right? Where before they weren't talking to Seth, now they are constantly, and he has a good rapport with them. They're respectful with him, and I mean, things are happening. So, and I did find it. I was like, wow, what happened, Chris? You've changed your tune in regards to law enforcement. Why? Is that because he knows they're finding some things out, like about his truck?
We'll see. You never know. Time always tells. The justice will prevail.
I can tell you, we have no problem answering that question either. And the answer to that question is many meetings in the past 12 days, daily communication, and couldn't be in a happier place with that communication with law enforcement and with the job that they're doing.
That's wonderful, Tony. I know Seth, I think the first meeting was on Sebastian's birthday, and I said that is the best gift Seth could have received other than finding his son.
Could not agree more, and you are correct. The first meeting was that day on December 7th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think when all this is settled and comes to fruition, I think that a lot more of it will make sense to the public as to why there weren't press conferences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it will all make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, silence is strength.
100%. And if you're Sumner County and you come out and you do a press conference, and your press conference is, we don't have anything that we can share at this time, we are continuing to work hard,
Right.
It's an active investigation, then you're going to have all these people attacking them saying, why did they even do a press conference?
Right. Yeah. Well,
So,
you know how critics are online. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's right.
And I get that. I mean,
See, for me, as a creator, my concern was not that they were doing press conferences for the public. My concern was that Seth kept saying they weren't talking to him. That was my concern, right? Because, guys, I know that, and I wouldn't want them to give information regarding an ongoing active investigation, because in the end, we want justice, right? And if everything's out there, there's not going to be any justice. It's like when I contacted the Gary, Indiana Police Department in regards to Emma Bal. I wasn't asking them to give me anything that they had, right? I was just asking them, was it an ongoing active investigation? Because nothing had been heard for like 2 months. Well, over a month for sure. And they were very nice, right? They were very, very nice. And it is an active, ongoing investigation. That's all we need to know, right? That's all we need to know. And look at how happy we are for Seth, because he's hearing from them. He's feeling hopeful, right, about what's going on and what they're doing. Well, did anybody notice Sebastian Rogers' hand gesture and face expression in the Texas Roadhouse? It matches the same as the photo of the boy in North Carolina. Yeah. Yes, I actually put up a picture side by side of the two of them. And it was very eerie. I sent it in, because in my opinion, and everyone that's regular here knows that my opinion, that should be looked into again, because if they didn't get DNA or allow Seth to physically interact with that child, be in his space, right, to know if it was his son, then, because people can lie. If someone was paid to take him or even took him because they wanted a son or something, I mean, who knows? There are crazy people out there. They're gonna lie. That's my son, they're gonna say, right? If papers were shown, birth certificates, all those can be faked. So, in my opinion, DNA, and if they don't want to put that boy through the DNA process, then they need to let Seth interact with that child one-on-one to find out if it's Sebastian, and then go from there. Because I think if Seth saw him physically in his, was standing right in front of him, he would know if it was his son or not. So, yes, I feel very strongly about that. Could be wrong. Could totally be wrong. I do have concerns that they're looking so close to my home now. 100 miles is nothing, guys. And, but it would make sense if somebody's hiding him, moving him around. Stanley, Wisconsin is a very rural place to do it.
I think if you've ever been, with there's always people out there.
One
no
more for our
matter what you
cheerleader.
do,
Woohoo.
how
Hit that like
good
button,
you
guys.
try, how hard you try, may not make sense to them. Oh well, right? You're doing the best you can, and we know that Sumner County is doing everything they can, and they are pursuing this. Seth is happy with it, and if Seth is happy, that's all I need to know.
100%. And I can tell you this, I'm very much at peace knowing that I represent a guy who screamed from the rooftop
Yep.
that he wants his son back,
Yep.
and a guy whose story has never changed. His interviews have never been inconsistent. A lot of people say, well, his stories have changed too. I can tell you, I know for a fact the last 7.5 months, his stories have never changed. There's never been inconsistencies.
Yes, Samantha. Seth saw the picture and said that it looked like his son. And that he saw a few more pictures that the police officers had shown him when they said that it wasn't his son. And he said if it wasn't Sebastian, then he kind of stopped, but I'm pretty sure, if you're going to put words in his mouth, he meant that Sebastian's got a twin or a doppelganger out there. No, he wasn't allowed to see the boy in person, and he wasn't allowed to see the footage, right? So that's why I feel very strongly that he should be allowed to see the boy in person. That would take care of a lot of the information, the speculation that's going out there that even I have.
And from what I've seen before I got involved, there's nothing any different the first 2 months.
There's nothing for him to be. I mean, this is the thing. There's nothing for his story to be even inconsistent about, right? Now,
well, he really doesn't have a story, right? I mean,
right.
The story is
he
that
was
he
at
loved
work.
his son unconditionally.
Right.
While he knew where his son was, and I'm not using that in past tense. He loves his son unconditionally. But he really doesn't have a story outside of that because his alibi is rock hard.
Yes.
And, he's turned over everything he's been asked to turn over and then some.
It amazes me that, I mean, I have supported Seth literally since day one, Tony. Literally since day one, I've started this case. And I've, he's pissed me off before, but I've always supported him, right? And we've talked through that and all that stuff, on and upward.
Sure.
But never a moment have I ever even thought that he motive, means, opportunity, none of that. This is a man. I mean, bar. I don't know I don't understand the even why someone would think other. Because this
I
is a
agree with
man in
Justin.
a jail, locked in, right, with prisoners with 1.5 billion cameras. There's no better
Yeah,
alibi you can have than being in a
exactly.
jail or a prison unless you're in surgery or in a coma.
Well, and if I were investigating this case from the start, I would say, yes, he was at work while, they were eating at Texas Roadhouse, and he was also at work when he was reported missing. But you
Yep.
know what? Let's check this guy's electronics devices. Let's make sure everything checks out there. And I would certainly do that. And all that was done
Of course.
immediately.
Of
With
course.
Seth, it was done immediately.
Yeah.
There, when you get to know Seth on a deeper level, he holds relationships very sacred. You know, he is very, very serious about being a good father, and that's who he is. Does he make everybody happy? No. Do I make everybody happy? No. Do you make everybody happy?
No.
But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to lay things out here that you have proof of that are going to make him look bad. A lot of the rumors that have been thrown out there, there's no proof, there's no receipts, there's no documents, there's none of that.
There's not been one iota of receipts.
Yeah, it blows my mind that people could think that Seth. I never thought of him as a suspect, but I have heard all kinds of things, and it's crazy, that he paid somebody to take Sebastian away. Why? What for? He wanted his son. If you're going to go down that alley, what for? Number one, he didn't have any money to do that. Where, I mean, you got to have some pretty good bucks to be hiding somebody, right? He didn't have that kind of money to pay somebody to take Sebastian away. He didn't. I mean, just the stories out there were so far-fetched and ridiculous, just outright ridiculous. And exactly what Tony and Justin are saying here, no receipts to prove anything. But yeah, Seth has receipts to prove where he was when Sebastian went missing. Right? Yeah, he has a solid alibi. There's
documents that has ever, came to fruition. You know what I mean?
Well, and let me say something else too to you and your audience. We have a mountain of information that we could continue to release, continue to talk about, that will have people going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We are not trying to make anybody look bad. We are playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that we release the emails and those reports is because, in contrast to what was said the other night.
What emails and reports? I'm sorry.
The email about him allegedly wanting to put Sebastian in a home and get rid of him. Well, they said that if you listen to that live, it was said that, well, the reason that we leaked that out there is we wanted to show everybody that we were working together. That's not why it was leaked, and that's not how it was presented. It was presented as if it were Seth's idea, and it was presented as if, he wanted to get rid of Sebastian just as bad as the other side did. Well, we came out and corrected that, and we elaborated on that because we wanted that shut down, and we had plenty of evidence to refute that.
Right.
Written evidence, emails, responses, recommendations, all those types of things. We don't want to release anything like that, especially just to make the other side look bad.
Right.
But we have facts on our side, we have the truth on our side, and we have transparency on our side.
Yeah.
And, we will release what we need to release to make sure that people know that Seth is who you and I know him to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
outside of that, if we don't have people dragging us through the mud, by us, I mean him, then what our focus is going to be is supporting law enforcement and keeping Sebastian's name out there. I mean,
yes.
we've all got sucked into the mudslinging and everything else.
But
Where we know the case
hold
to
on.
be now, we want to focus on supporting them and keeping Sebastian's name out there.
Wasn't it released by the other side?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, because you kept saying we released it, so I wanted to clear that up.
No,
you responded.
We released what the evidence regarding those rumors, and I elaborated on that and was very specific about the emails because it was very vague the way it was laid out there, and it was one-sided.
Yes. Yeah. And I think those were released to try to paint a narrative, in my opinion.
They 100% they were.
And this is the thing. If Seth didn't want Sebastian, he wouldn't have been coming to live with him. They would have both agreed to just, find him a place, right? I mean, and that
Seth didn't just want Sebastian to be selfish and to be competitive and to want to say that I have him and you don't. He wanted to make sure he had a plan. He wanted to make sure that he was set in the proper school, to get his education on track. He just wanted to make sure that everything was right.
Right.
And,
that's
otherwise,
what any responsible parent wants.
Known, correct. And if he would have known that he was in any kind of danger, then all bets would have been off and he would have taken him immediately. But quite frankly, he didn't know that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
the other side has been trying to put out a narrative, and they even have tried to change the narrative here and there and everywhere, but none of it has ever worked, right? Hello, Meow. It's good to see you. Yes, Samantha, it's true. I don't think you're being rude or anything. He does. He lives paycheck to paycheck. Prison guards don't get paid that much money, guys. It's not like a tower crane operator. All right, so I did want to, before we do our cheerleading thing, we're still going to listen to the rest of this, but before we do our cheerleading video, kind of lay the groundwork here. Remember, Chris told everybody that he was Seth's biggest cheerleader.
I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time.
Go, Seth, go. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. That cracks me up every time, and it's because he wants everybody to believe on the face of things that he has been Seth's biggest cheerleader, but he's not. He's not. Oh. He's going to regret ever saying those words.
Hell, when they allegedly, the CPS doesn't even know you know, what's
And
what.
I'm gonna say something very quickly that, quite frankly, Seth does not even want me to address, but it has really, really been weighing heavy on me to hear what's been said regarding the allegations between him and Katie by, you know, the grandma-in-law.
Hmm.
That could not be further from the truth. And you know, if that continues to be laid out there, then you know we will have to come out and lay out the truth, the real truth, which is not what we want. But one thing you'll notice, and I give Katie credit for this, is even Katie has never come out and said that that was true. And quite frankly, I think it was disgusting that it was put out there, not only for Seth, knowing that it wasn't true, but it also doesn't make Katie look good. And for her, I thought that was reckless as well. I mean, it's not good for either person to
Well,
be
it's just
throwing
not good
rumors out there like
for
that.
this, you know, even Sebastian. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just not.
But it could not be further from the truth.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cruella, she's a.
You know, and all of the, you know, the rumors as to how he knew her when she was younger, there's a very logical reason for why he knew her when he was younger. And it had nothing to do with anything other than they crossed paths because of their lives. But that's it.
I mean,
So, and again, we don't want to elaborate on all that, but if those rumors continue to get thrown out there, then, you know, we will
right.
elaborate on it.
Again, when you've done nothing wrong, when you have nothing to hide. You know, I always say in true crime, people who have nothing to hide, hide nothing.
Right. That's right. And you know, Seth's sitting right here and said, you know, it has nothing to do with Sebastian, and it doesn't help him. It doesn't help Katie, and it doesn't help find Sebastian at all. And again, we've all got sucked into, you know, he said, she said, and they threw a bomb this way, we're going to throw one back. We are trying to lead by example and get back to focusing on Sebastian and supporting law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. You know, it seems like it's just about, you know, dragging each other through the mud. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it needs to be talking about the case. What happened that night, right? Like, let's talk about timelines. Let's talk about,
Yeah.
you know, where people were, right? But
Well,
I think it's hard for the other
one
side
other
to do
thing.
that, Tony, because they don't have anything other than
Well,
slandering.
that's correct. And here's the thing: we are very grateful to have the team that we now have. We are very grateful that our private investigator is private. There's very few people that know who they are, and if they do, they don't ever see this person on social media. They don't ever see them. I can tell you this: if our PI was publicly attacking Katie, they would be fired.
Yeah.
It would be, they would be fired in 2 seconds.
Literally inflames things.
Because, yeah, I mean, it's just not, you bring if a person is really acting in the capacity of a private investigator, first off, they're private. They don't share their information. They're not looking for credit, notoriety, or exposure. And they are looking for facts that might aid in solving the case.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time they come out and become something other than private, they're not a private investigator anymore. And, you know, regardless of how we feel about Chris or Katie, if they came out in public and started attacking the mother of this child,
mm-hmm.
they would be fired before the sun set that day.
Right.
It sounds like they're going at things much more professionally than they did in the beginning, and I'm really glad about that. Seth's Live is supposed to start at 8 o'clock, guys, Central Time, which is about 40 minutes from now. But when you think about the other two PIs that were on before, and I don't have anything against them, they were all over social media. So they were kind of acting like Seth's spokesperson until Tony got there, right? So yeah, now it looks like things are being done the right way, right? They're not putting, and you don't see Seth talking so much, so, which, it is a good thing. You see him in chats a little bit. He's letting everybody know he appreciates their support, that kind of thing. And that's good. But to see him on, people's YouTube channels talking, he's not doing that as much anymore. And I think that's a good thing, guys. I think that not only helps him because I heard in the past that law enforcement I think it was something Chris said, that law enforcement wasn't happy with Seth because he was telling things that he shouldn't have told. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But, you would be tempted, right? I mean, anybody would be, because, people are out there rooting for you, rooting for your son to be home. And, they're asking these questions and you want to give the answers if you know them, right? So, just in time for dinner. Yeah. Well, let's see if we can listen to the rest of this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was so long.
Because that's not why we brought him in. We brought him in to help aid and gather information and
answers,
and work
not
with law enforcement.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, if you're brought in to run interference or you're brought in for other reasons, then you know what? If that's a strategy you have, then great. But that's not what a PI should be doing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it's you're there to hopefully advance the case and find answers.
Well, and when this PI was brought in, it was at a time where there wasn't communication between Sumner County, and it allowed somebody to bridge the gap for Seth so that he felt like he had somebody talking to him about what was going on with the case.
Great minds,
and whether
Ginger.
it be information that she was working with Sumner County on, or whether it be information that she had uncovered herself, he had somebody talking to him about his son's case. And that was the void that she filled early on. And, that's the void that she continues to fill. The great thing now is we don't need her doing that because we've got rock solid communication with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we try not to have a double standard. We don't like somebody publicly attacking Seth with things that they can't substantiate, especially. But we also wouldn't allow that to happen towards Katie with our person. We just wouldn't allow it to happen.
Right. That's well stated. Well stated. The it's always been for me in this case is
wow. Think about that, guys. Seth does not want anything out there to be attacking Katie. They won't allow that. I think that is awesome on his part, because if if it comes out that she's responsible or partly responsible or whatever, the facts are going to speak for themselves, right? But he won't be responsible for attacking her publicly. I think that's good.
Is, and all of us, but it's just, why is a mother, hasn't done an interview in 6 months, and I just, that's a tough pill. I just can't imagine my mother not doing, being
Yeah,
proactive, because
I can only look at this as if, through the eyes of a missing child. If I were a child and I were missing, I would want everybody in my family to be screaming from the rooftop.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
would want
I can't imagine
everybody
my
in my
mother not
family.
searching for me, not being there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what? In my situation with my family, it would be my wife playing one part and me playing another part. My wife would never leave the home that child went missing from, and I would
Exactly.
never leave searching. I would be in the woods. I'd be on the water.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be everywhere I could be every day. I would pray that, that my livelihood and my career was workable with me and trying to find my
Hello,
child.
Melissa.
Yeah.
But as a
And I
mother,
agree
she would
with
be
you.
terrified that they might walk back in the door and she wouldn't be there. And as a father, I would feel like I needed to spend every minute I was sleeping searching.
Really good
Right.
point, Ginger.
And again, I'm not saying that there is a playbook for this. I'm not saying in any way that it's my job to say how they should act. I can simply tell you how we would act.
Well,
And I can also tell you that I'm very grateful that Seth has reacted the way he has, because it makes it very, very easy to support him.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If Seth didn't, I would be side-eyeing him. You know what I mean, as well. I'd be like, why the hell? It's an inherent reaction, right?
Right.
I mean, if a cat has kittens, right, and the kittens are, fall down a well or whatever, get away from them. They start looking, right? They start looking.
It's a wired in maternal instinct.
Yes. And there's only 2 people that can advocate for Sebastian better than anyone, and that is Seth Rogers and Katie. But
Correct.
the problem is crickets on one side.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, it's just I think that there's so many things in this case that have turned into something other than finding Sebastian. And for full transparency, I'll say that we've got sucked into that. All of our creator friends have got sucked into that. But when all the dust settles, it truly is about the child that's missing. And everybody says that we're going to go back to that. And then we get distracted and we end up, doing what we say we wouldn't do. But we feel like we're finally in a place where it's very easy to just focus on Sebastian,
Right.
and focus on supporting law enforcement.
Yeah. Well, and I think you should. I think some of it's not really your and Seth's fault either, because I think that's what you've wanted since pretty much day one. But that communication just was not open at that time. So onward and upward, we're here now, and Seth is happy. He's confident. Everyone's confident that this is going to be, there's going to be a resolution, and we're getting there, and it can't come soon enough. It freaking can't come soon enough.
Well, my hope, my hope and prayer was, hashtag Sebastian home by Christmas. We're getting very, very close to that, but a realistic goal, that I hope and pray for is that we are not moving beyond that 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. But let me tell you
And,
something, Tony. I just felt this in my spirit. Your whole world can change in a second. You know that. Seth definitely knows that. And as fast as Sebastian disappeared, God can put him right in front of us as well.
100%. 100%.
Amen to that. Oh my goodness, that just gave me the goosebumps, guys. And that's exactly true. It was a little disheartening to hear Tony say, hashtag Sebastian home by Christmas, but now we're moving toward that. We're not going to let the 1 year mark pass by. And for Justin to say, as quickly as Sebastian disappeared, God can put him right in front of Seth. Just like that. And he can. So until it comes midnight on Christmas night, I'm still going to be hoping that Sebastian will be home by Christmas, because many of you know that has been my desire. That's been my focus. That's been my prayer. That's been my goal, right? We still have 4 days. Anything can happen in 4 days. It wasn't even a full day that Sebastian went missing, right? It wasn't even 12 hours that we know of. It wasn't. Because they were seen at what, 6:20 something at the Texas Roadhouse. And she went to try to wake him up at 6 in the morning. So it wasn't even 12 hours, guys, that he went missing. So think about that. Excuse me. If you have any faith or hope for this holiday season, let's put our faith and hope in that, right? Jackie Taylor, good to see you. Welcome in. That is what we're hoping for. That is what we're praying for. Sebastian home to Seth by Christmas. And I gotta tell you, I had somebody say, just his dad. Well, I wasn't going to argue with somebody on social media, but yes, just his dad. My opinion. His dad's been the one that's been shouting from the rooftops for him. His dad's been the one that's been consistent throughout this whole thing. His dad has been the one, boots on the ground, looking for him. His dad's the one that deserves to keep him when he comes home. Let's see what else we got here.
Yeah, it's been a long road, the 25th or 26th, however you look at it, but Christmas Day will be 10 months.
Yeah.
And I can tell you I've spent a lot of time with Seth Rogers. And what I see is a worn out, broken father. I see a father that falls asleep at the drop of a dime in a car, music playing, people around. He's literally mentally, physically, emotionally wore out.
Yeah. But you know what? You know what? He keeps going. He still keeps going. And that's it, despite him being tired, despite the bull crap that people throw at him for just being an innocent father at work, and still searching for his son, still doing the interviews. He still continues despite it all.
I can tell you that if it took another 2 years or 5 years to figure out what happened to his son, he is still going to be doing what he's doing today, and there's not a doubt in my mind about that.
Not going to take that long.
Yep.
There's not going to be a day where he wakes up and decides that it's not the most important thing in the world to him.
Mhm. And that's right, Misty. We all want KP to be concerned, worried, and
That is really good. We all want KP to be concerned, worried, and have an overwhelming urgency to find Sebastian.
have an overwhelming urgency to find Sebastian. KP is lacking all this above it. That's the way it. That's
Yeah.
the way it seems, in my opinion.
Yep.
You know,
And I would love to see, Chris and Katie, even with their own team, so to speak, their own agenda, so to speak, I would love to see for them, to be on the rooftop shouting. I would love for them to be an advocate and for this to be as important to them publicly as it is to Seth. I can't speak to what goes on in private. I'm not going to pretend to know what they're doing in private. But we've certainly, the creators were talking about last night, what about working together? What about this? What about that? We're at the point now where there are sides. There will be no working together.
yeah.
And it's not because Seth Rogers cares more about pride or anything else than he does finding Sebastian. It has to do with the fact that we've gone too far in different directions. And when you start bringing people in that are attacking the father, that publicly say that they're working for you,
Mm-hmm.
and and then you've got now the things that we know that were going on inside of that home. The best that we could hope and pray for was that they came up with their own plan and that they were working hard to help find him, and that we were working parallel to each other towards a common goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. But here's my opinion after what happened in this, picture in this video that Justin was showing before Tony got on the phone with these 5 people here. Well, there were 6. It wasn't good, guys. Humpty Dumpty's wall started to fall. And there's no putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. They're going after each other. One guy, Elevated Truth, is tired of the games, and he's telling the truth. I can only hope he's telling law enforcement what he knows. But yeah, Humpty Dumpty's wall fell apart, guys. It fell apart. And it's not too late for them to redeem themselves. It's not. It's going to be really bad for them if Chris and Katie are responsible. I hope that they're not. But, when you've got people behind you that are starting to question you, things are beginning to fall apart. And Chris knows it. Tony is a good supporter for Seth. He seems to stay calm and explain things well. No, I've never heard him lose his temper either. And he didn't have to stay. He's not getting paid, right, Melissa? He's not getting paid. And he had so much garbage come at him, Yeah, there are so many moms. It's really true. And Katie did not bond with Sebastian. Um, Seth was a stay-at-home mom, and Seth had that bond. Hello, chemistry queen. Good to see you. I know all of us are. We really are. It's been heartbreaking, and yet now I'm finally feeling hope again, and I feel like it's not going to be long, right? It's not going to be long. Well, we haven't quite finished all of this, but I know that we all want to watch Seth in about 20 minutes, guys. So, I'm not going to keep you on here much longer. I did want to share something with you. Let's see what Samantha say. When a person does something wrong or something they shouldn't do, what is the first thing you notice? They stay silent, they stay quiet, they don't say anything. The same thing Katie is doing. Yeah. And I agree with you, chemistry. I feel like something is going to happen very, very soon. I feel like things are breaking open. They're coming to a head. And, and Seth is even, think about it. 4 meetings with law enforcement within the past, what'd they say, 12 days? That's incredible. Aw, thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. I did want to remind you guys that on Monday night, we are going to be doing our Christmas giveaway. Okay. And we'll be selecting a random subscriber to be given my Christmas gift. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick 3 lucky winners. We're not too far off, guys. A little over 100 more. Where are we at right now for likes? It's about, hello, Butterfly Kisses. It's good to see you. It is about to go down. I really feel it. There is going to be one big YouTube party when Sebastian is found, isn't there? Can you guys... I mean, people are going to be shouting. I'll be crying. Happy tears. Happy tears. I'll be crying. I'll be crying. We've got 30 likes, huh? Okay. Well, I will go ahead and play our cheerleader video again one more time before we show our grannyism tonight.
I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time.
All right. Yes. I can't imagine when we get to that point. We're all going to be cheering, right? We'll all be cheering. I wanted to also mention to you guys that if you wanted to go hear the rest of Tony's phone call with Justin, the link is in the description for the video. I always put anyone in credit to Justin, by the way, Clutch and Pearls and his little Remy Pearl. She's so cute. But yes, I always have the links for anyone that I might be utilizing their videos. They're always in the description so you can find it. You guys like the cheerleader? Mr. Go Seth Go. So I want to just share my grannyism with you guys for tonight. Especially at the Christmas season, right? Be mindful, be grateful, be positive, be true, and be kind. Roy Bennett said that. And I just liked it because, the Christmas season, it's just a time for positivity, joy, kindness, giving, gratitude. And so I just kind of wanted to remind everybody, let's be the change that we need to see in the world, because there's so many people out there that aren't kind. We've seen it in the Sebastian Rogers case, haven't we? And I sincerely hope that drama will stop. I think that wall is coming down for those people, and I hope they're scared, and I hope they turn things around and become good people, become people who elevate others instead of tearing people down, right? Let me see what we've got here for comments. Thank you, Dreaming. Wouldn't be a granny without giving some advice at the end of the show, right? Sometimes I forget. I think I forgot one when I was doing my video today on the Dan Markell case, Dan Markell episode. So sometimes I forget, and I'm into the whole video, and I'm like, ready to show my grannyism, and I didn't have it. That is so true, Ginger. God loves to use evil for good. He does. Please pray for my friend and neighbor. She lost her husband last week. Oh, and 4 daughters that will be without their daddy this Christmas. Oh, gosh. Absolutely. Dreaming of blue skies. Absolutely. I'll keep them in my prayers, definitely. And anybody else who's a prayer warrior on our panel, please, keep this woman and her children in your prayers. That's awful. It's a horrible time to lose someone. Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. It means so much to me when you come in and chat with me and hear what I have to say. Aw, thank you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really do. So let's all go. Let's support Seth. Be there for him, because you never know. Hopefully Sebastian will be home within the next 4 days. But if he's not, I'm still believing that he is, but if he's not, he needs our support, okay? He really needs us. So go on in tonight, be a supporter for Seth, okay? Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.